MMAViking.com here with Ilir Latifi. How does it feel to be back here in Stockholm?
It's nice to be back, fighting in my hometown. It's going to be great.
Yeah, when you fight, it seems like you're one of the few guys that seems to fight for lots of different types of crowd. Like you have your Albanian background, you're from Malmo, and now you're here in Stockholm. So you got all these big groups, and you're like, when you're here, it's like there's so many fans of different types.
Yeah. I have a wide crowd of fans, and I'm very thankful. They supported me through my journey, and that means a lot for me. And so it's nice coming back here and giving back to the fans and the people that supported me.
I wanted to ask you this, just taking a step back from this upcoming fight. Have you liked any fights? Have you ever thought you actually had a good MMA match that you liked? Because you always seem to be a guy that's so critical of yourself, and maybe you've always been the guy that thinks he and knows he can do more out there.
No, I've done good fights during the circumstances, but I think that's a part of being a fighter, that you always want to evolve and be better, and knowing that you have more capacity inside you, and you want to achieve that.
Do you feel you came close to showing the fans what you can do? This year you've ended fights very early. You're surreal to your body. You didn't take any punches, and this last fight was one of the most devastating KOs we've seen this year.
Yeah, this year was good. I finished both my fights, and this is the Ilir that we've been working, more against, and finding the right setup for the training, and it's all about the different circumstances for training and the preparations that have changed.
Yeah, and preparations for this, I guess we've been a team that's been around the gym a lot, and we kind of see you, we mentioned before the last fight, you kicking a bag. When you kick a big bag, it's like the whole gym almost stops because it's so loud, and it's something that people haven't heard. Do you think this is the best Ilir and the most prepared Ilir that we'll see?
Hopefully, yeah. It's the best you're gonna see. I'm coming this fight motivated and training all my aspects and getting better.
So I wanted to talk to you about your brother Arben, a real pioneer of the sport, and I was watching some of the old Finn fights and the rules or lack of rules that they were having. How has it been following in his footsteps and getting into the sport?
My brother introduced me to the sport, and he was actually the first person that said, brother, you have to get in this, because I think this is made for you. So I chose the road, and he guided me through my first fights, and it's an honor in a way, representing the legacy after my brother, being a pioneer in MMA in Sweden, and world and European and Pan Am BJJ champion. So it's nice continuing the legacy.
Yeah, and he never got his break, big break into the UFC, and it was kind of, I think when he was fighting.
Yeah, it was before time. This was 15 years ago, and the UFC wasn't what it was today, and wasn't even here in Europe. So fighting there was such a far step, and the circumstances weren't right. He was working hard, raising a family, and so he chose to end that career.
Yeah, do you feel part of you, I know he's in your corner, and we see he's at some of your camps. Do you feel like you're helping kind of keep his name going and kind of showing the influence that he has and what his potential was if he would have come a little later?
The people that saw my brother fight, they knew his potential, and what I do is a part of him too. What we do is a part of us as a team. Me, my brother Selman, and Andreas, my coaches, and without them I wouldn't be here either.
I wanted to change the subject. I think if I could critique anything from All Stars gyms, light heavyweights, when Alex finished his Jimmy Manuwa fight and he did a kind of front flip and then you tried a back flip, which you turned a little. And we see you in the gym. You're so athletic. Have you been working on something you might show the fans if you finish this fight?
No, actually, you know, the thing with the flips is it's just a reaction of happiness and joy. And both me and Alex, we can do these flips without problem. But when it's just after a fight, when you win, it's just a burst of joy. And I just threw myself back. I didn't care how I landed. And it's the same with Alex. But of course, acrobatics and gymnastics are something that we work out, you know, to be flexible and agile.
Last question, Jan Blachowicz. What do you know about him, and how do you think you match up against him?
Well, Jan, he's an experienced fighter. Has a lot of good fights against good fighters. Well-rounded, good ground game, good stand-up, and a tough opponent. You know, Kiss W champ was a while ranked #1 in Europe. So it's going to be a tough and interesting fight, you know, and I look forward to fighting him. And of course, in the fight, I'm looking for the finish.
Great. Well, thanks again for your time. We look forward to October 4th.
Thank you.
Seeing you here back in homeland.
See you in the gym.
All righty.